Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Tonight, investigators trying to figure out what led to a deadly crash in Perry County. The crash left Highway 15 closed for hours. It all happened just south of the Highway 28 turnoff. The trucks of 34-year-old Robbie Robinson and 62-year-old Jeannie Gayhart collided head-on. Both of them died. People who lived nearby told WYMT's Will Puckett it rattled their homes.
All it took was a glance out of his kitchen window to know something was not right.
Well, I see the traffic slowing down. I sit in my window. I said, "The wreck somewhere."
Bill Miller has lived along this stretch of Highway 15 for nearly half a century.
I watched all the traffic come down the road. I come down here and that was there.
In his almost 50 years of living here, Miller has never seen a crash this bad.
There's a whole bunch of people down here. I don't have many more, but there's a bunch of people.
Gwen Holland heard it from her front porch.
It's just like a big old crash, like it rattled it. It rattled so hard, it hit so hard. I thought it was a coal truck. That's the reason I came to the bottom of the hill.
Two cars colliding head-on just a short drive from where both Holland and Miller live.
They said this car was coming and come around one and hit head-on.
The two watching as crews cleaned up the wreck and praying for the families of those involved. In Perry County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Highway 15 is back open as of noon. Kentucky State Police are investigating.
And those showers and storms are continuing to pop up for some this evening. Others are dealing with that very hot weather. We'll go ahead and take you on top of Buffalo Mountain, where you can see those storm clouds starting to move out a little bit, but it's definitely been stormy here in Perry County. You'll notice satellite and radar. We've been dealing with those isolated rain chances really on and off throughout the afternoon, and scanning the skies now, dealing with some heavier rain. You see that main line just west of Lexington. That'll continue to trek into our area, but as it moves more into the mountains, it'll actually start to die down a little bit, but definitely keeping an eye on that as it's producing a few of those severe thunderstorm warnings out towards that way. But bringing that closer to home, we're seeing some heavier rain into parts of Floyd County, a little bit into Pike County, a little bit into southern Magoffin, and even northern Knott, and of course northern Perry County, where we've gotten reports of a few trees that have fallen on just a small road, the Lost Creek Road in northern Perry County. So definitely packing a punch, that little storm. Even just we can hear it here at the station. But there's those temperatures, of course, on the cooler side where they've seen rain, like areas like Pikeville. We're starting to get back into those mid to upper 80s, lower 90s. And then we do have that actually severe thunderstorm watch. Now that's out for our areas west. We will not see that get extended into the mountains, but those storms will be moving into our area, and definitely going to have to keep an eye on those as we head into the rest of the evening hours. Connor.
All right, thank you, Paige. Well, tonight, Hazard Police need your help finding a man involved in a smash and grab. Here he is. Security footage caught him last night busting out the front door of an ATT store in Hazard, as well as one in Bristol, Tennessee. He got away with thousands of dollars of high-priced electronics. WYMT's Madison Pergram has reaction.
Shattered glass is what is left behind after a burglary at the ATT store in Hazard.
It's just scary. It's really scary.
Scary for people like Billy Hatfield who live in this community.
I'm worried about our community. I know our police are doing the very finest and best they can do, but you know, I'm still scared and I'm still worried.
And for some, an incident that hits close to home.
It surprised me because it's the store right beside me.
Something that Brian Campbell, a worker at a nearby store, says happens too often.
Things like this just keep increasing around here.
It all happened close to 2 a.m. when police got a call about an alarm going off in the Black Gold Shopping Center.
Once our officers got there, they noticed that the window was broke out.
A window broke out and nearly $10,000 of inventory taken.
Pretty much snatched and grabbed several iPhones, watches, Samsung phones, and left the business.
Police believe that the man seen in this picture from the burglary in Hazard was also seen in this video from a burglary at an AT&T store in Bristol later that morning.
Appears to have a functional knowledge of the operations of these two stores in particular.
Leaving people in the community hoping for one thing.
I just hope they catch the person that does this.
Getting justice for those involved. In Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, if you have any information about the incidents, you are asked to contact the Hazard Police Department at 436-2222. And in Clay County, a man is accused of beating his girlfriend. Manchester police arrested Austin Jackson. Police say an officer responded to a noise complaint at the Raintree apartment complex yesterday. When he got to the apartment, police say the victim was bleeding and said her boyfriend cut her, choked her with a cord, and was going to, quote, kill her. Jackson was standing in the apartment where he was arrested. He's charged with assault, unlawful imprisonment, and wanton endangerment. And in Laurel County, this man, Kevin Stinson, is accused of rape. Deputies say a woman reported him for a sexual assault. Police say she went to the hospital. They arrested him yesterday morning in Berea. He's charged with first-degree rape. And an operation by the DEA spanning 3 states results in hundreds facing federal charges and more than 800 pounds of methamphetamine off the streets. Operation Crystal Mountain spanned across Kentucky, West Virginia, and Tennessee. This is video from part of the bust in Laurel County. DEA agents say they believe all of the meth came from Mexico. While this was focused on meth, they say they also recovered nearly 5.5 pounds of fentanyl.
Anytime you remove this much meth and these many organizations across this region, it's bound to make an impact. We believe that this operation, because it was so intense, and then we removed so many organizations and took so much meth and firearms and individuals off the street, we believe this will have a significant impact.
In total, 235 arrested on federal charges. Another 140 will also face state-level charges. We'll have much more on this story tonight at 11. And in Knox County, sheriff's deputies arrested a man during a suspected drug deal. The sheriff's office says deputies were patrolling in the Gridler area when one of the deputies saw what he believed to be a drug deal in a business parking lot. He investigated and found several oxycodone and hydrocodone tablets. The deputy arrested 58-year-old Randall Engel of Cannon. Engel is charged with drug trafficking, among other charges. In 40 years in a Breathitt County family still feels like they received little justice. Recently, the Department of Public Advocacy reached out to them trying to remove their loved one's killer off death row. They claim this man, Eugene White, is mentally disabled, meaning it's against federal law to keep him there. Decades ago, a judge sentenced him to death following his conviction in a triple murder. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to the family members of his victims.
I'm standing here at the former location of the country store that Charlie and Lula Gross, along with Sam Chaney, were murdered 40 years ago. Now, the family met with a lawyer from the Attorney General's office yesterday. They claim Eugene White has a mental disability, which means he should be off death row. The family does not believe this to be true. They voted for him to stay on death row, but they tell me they doubt what they say is going to affect the decision. The Attorney General's office is pushing for his sentence to be changed to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
This man served 13 years for my granny's death, Sam's death, and my grandpa's death. That's all he served, is 13 years for each one of their deaths. And he hasn't served yet for robbing or breaking and entering. He's still got those to go.
Families say they are going to continue to fight until they have what they feel is justice. That is White on death row. In Breathitt County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
In 2010, a judge ordered a stay of executions in Kentucky while attorneys argued over, among issues, protocols involving drugs during lethal injection. The last execution in Kentucky happened in 2008. And Kentucky's lowest paid workers could get a pay raise if a couple lawmakers have it their way. State Senator Reggie Thomas and Representative Kathy Hinkle, both Democrats, pre-filed a bill to increase Kentucky's minimum wage. Since 2008, minimum wage has sat at $7.25. The latest proposal aims to increase the wage with a staggered increase during the next 7 years. Ultimately, it would cap out at $15 in 2027.
No one should have to work and still live in poverty, still have to receive food stamps, still have to receive a medical card. That makes no sense.
The bills would also allow cities to enact their own minimum wage. Several efforts in years past have struggled to gain much traction in the legislature. And if you plan on being in Louisville tomorrow, expect some long delays. The president is coming back to the Bluegrass. During his visit, Republican Governor Matt Bevin is preparing to host the president for a fundraiser. President Trump will also speak at the 75th AMVETS convention while in town. You might remember earlier this month, Vice President Pence visited Clay County as well. And today, officials with the Eastern Kentucky Concentrated and Employment Program gathered nearly 20 local employers to host a job fair in Letcher County. From coal companies to contractors, many different career fields were represented at the job fair. Representative Trish Adams says the event comes in response to recent layoffs in the area. She says more than 100 people joined the job fair to see what the region has to offer.
We need to be urgent and we need to respond to our dislocated workers and helping them learn what other opportunities may be out there for them.
Adams says another job fair will be held tomorrow at the Harlan Center.
And we're keeping an eye on those showers and storms popping up across the area, and then this main line that's starting to move into parts of Lexington. I'll have those details coming up in just a few short minutes.
But first, tonight, we listen to the 911 calls coming into the Lincoln County dispatchers after a massive gas pipeline explosion.